Hey, what's up? I hope you had a great weekend. We have a lot of sports to recap, discuss, going forward, looking back, all this and that. Don't leave Carlos.
Live from the BiffNet Studios World Headquarters in Spring, Texas, it's Barry on Deck, hosted by former ESPN Houston radio host and stand-up comedian Barry Laminack, starring Oliver the Cat. Written by Barry Laminack, produced by Barry Laminack, directed by, you guessed it, Barry Laminack, featuring sports, entertainment, special guests, film sessions, and some drinking. Okay, a lot of drinking. Viewer discretion is advised. And now, here's your host, Barry Laminack.
What's up, you damn dirty deckheads? Welcome to Barry on Deck. I am your host, Barry Laminack. Thank you guys for being here. Today is Monday, October 4th. 2021, and this is episode number 341 of Barry on Deck. As always, Barry on Deck brought to you by the AP Law Group. If you've been hurt or injured in an accident or had a loved one suffer a wrongful death at the hands of somebody else, do not get bullied. Call the AP Law Group, 713-913-GO-AP, or log on to aplawgroup.com. Hey, welcome to the program. Hope you had a great weekend. Hope it was fun and fantastic. Look, I still got Genmo. I still got Jen's Venmo up. I got hold on. Yeah, we know AMA today. What the hell? I done messed up my, oh well. So I'm going to tell you right now, I feel like something's off today. I don't know what it is that I forgot. I don't know. I feel like something's going to happen and I'm going to be like, what happened to the, what? I forgot to do something. I don't know. I'm discombobulated this morning. Lot of stuff going on. And yeah, so if something is amiss, just I apologize. I feel like if I can get through October, I can, finally relax and breathe a little. Things are a little tight, a little hectic right now with the shows that I had 3 shows in a row. All that. Oh yeah, I forgot to turn on the BOD sign. Well, that's my bad. The D sign and BOD is out behind you. All 3 of them. I didn't even turn that thing on. I forgot the bottle lights. I just went lights and we're here. Hey, I hope you enjoyed. I am clenching the butt cheeks. Dude, it's been a crazy 2-ish months, what with Sports Riot Live and the Sports Riot Live show and all the prep that goes into that. And I produced the first 2 shows I've ever produced not by myself, co-produced with Christopher Hart and then Todd Hayden out at Hop Scholar. So that was crazy. And yeah, now I'm getting ready for this dry bar thing. And so lots of stuff going on. So I'm looking forward to maybe a more relaxing November and then cruising into the holidays. I'll be honest with you. I might take a week off around Christmas. I'm just saying there might just be some time off and no shows, but we'll see. I definitely need a battery recharge. That's for sure. Nonetheless, hey, busy show today. Lot to discuss, lot to get to. The good and the bad, right? Such is life in the big city of Houston, Texas as a sports fan. Hey, you kissed my ass, Marty. Don't start with me. Marty. Oh, punk ass Marty. Go Tex. You shut up. Look, hold on. I know a Bears fan isn't out here yipping and a yapping about a shitty football team. Yeah, I know. Amos, I know Facebook and IG being down is kind of an issue. A little bit of a problem. All right, let's get the show rolling. First of all, let's start like we always do with the greatest decade in the history of the world. I just need a sound effect for that. none other than our resident weather guy, Steven Uzi, Lil Uzi Vert, first in the chat. Not first super chat. I think Steven, the weather guy, is super chat averse. I don't think he believes in super chats. I don't think he's ever sent maybe one. I don't know. But he was first. I think he's been first a couple times. He's like, nah, I'm not sending you no goddamn super chat. I'm not doing it. But he did get Congo blocked. I think Swinford just out of maybe just pity that no super chat was sent one in. So thank you for the $1 super chat. Just to make it a clean intro. Much appreciated of that, Justin. Steven doesn't believe in that. And that's okay. You don't have to believe in it to be the greatest decade in the history of the world. So he's first. You guys can suck it. He's great for the next hour and 47 minutes. And then he's back to old regular ass Steven sending me grainy weather videos. I'm fussing at him. He sends me, what he does is good. It's just I'm like, yo, we got to up the quality of this, bro. I care about this show. I care what this show looks like. So we gotta be on point. So I'm gonna work with Steven. He's like, I shoot him on an iPhone, but I'm like, what, an iPhone 2? You'll see at the break. We got a new one. It's a little grainy, but we work with it. We figure it out. We'll get better. We'll improve it. But thank you for being first in the chat. Rest of the chat shapes up like this. Where's the page at? John Dory was second, by the way. And then Nick Gamboa was here. Joe Pro was early. My brother-in-law, Ray Lucio, in the building. Philip Barnard showing. I don't know why I say it like it's a Midwestern thing, Philip. I'm sorry. Alan Denton, it was good to meet you in person this weekend. We'll get to that. Crystal Meth is here. Aaron J. Bryant, Francisco, Uriel, Walt, my dog, my dude. Donna, my sweet Donna. Terrence and Fidel. And hi, Jen. How are you, sweetie? I hope you had a wonderful birthday weekend. Kills me to say that, but I saw that the party was a ripping and a roaring on Saturday. I wish I could have made it. Unfortunately, I had to be at the show that I was producing, the comedy show, early, or I would have came, and you know that. I couldn't make it. G-Man, what's up, dude? Truck driver Pookie and Dandy Dan is here. Fingers crossed for you, buddy. I know you're GTSS. I hope that shit works out. TDP in the building. What's up, dude? VB, thank you for being here, my friend. Very much appreciated. You need a French drain in your backyard. I saw your reply. You still need to get a French drain. That shouldn't do that. Justin Swinford, what up, dude? I appreciate you in the super chat. D Mata is here. My dude, my dog. Robert Likes Beer. Did I show y'all? Can I show y'all something? I made this for Robert Likes Beer specifically. Because if you recall, Robert is the king of the deckheads. Because the rest of you couldn't keep up. He's just that good. And I owe him a shirt. And I'm just so far behind on everything that I didn't get around to doing his shirt yet. And then when I finally was going to do it, my goddamn machine shit the bed. So I have ordered a new heat press. It came in today, this morning. So after this show, I will be finishing up merch that I was making for me for the stage. I will try to get your breast cancer shirts that have been ordered. I think we've had 3 get ordered. I'll try to get those made. And then I'm gonna make this shirt that I owe Robert for being the king of the deckheads. This is just only one of one. This is it. That is Robert's shirt. And it's going to be gold. It's not just like the Saints color, whatever that ugly Saints color is, that mealy mouth vomit yellow, whatever that is. Is it tan? Is it, I don't know. It just looks like the base color of puke. I'm sorry, Saints fans. I'm sorry. What is that color called? Y'all call it gold. It ain't gold. It's like if vomit had a base color that everything else played off of, it's whatever that tannish color is for the Saints. But this is going to be actual gold. Not like real gold. It's not going to be like, oh my God, this shirt is worth $8,000. But it's going to be like, hold on. I have it over here somewhere. Where'd it go? Oh, shit. Here it is. It's badass. See that? Look at that. 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 Isn't that dope? Hold on. Uh-oh. This is what his shirt's going to be made out of. Wait, hold on. And this part is scratched, so don't worry about it. Look at that. That's going to be dope. What? That's going to be super fancy. So, yeah, that's what I made for Robert. So I'm going to get that in the mail hopefully soon to him. Also, I got to brag and say thank you to all the deckheads that came out to the comedy show that I produced with Christopher Hart. The other half of Two Fancy Guys. I have bad news in regards to Two Fancy Guys. We'll get to that in just a second as well. What's up, Clarence? Oh yeah, the Saints slander. That's my bad. It's called dog shit gold. Well, I guess that's one way. What does it say? I'm gonna snatch a shirt like it's a chain, Robert. That's funny. It's pewter. Is that what it's called? Pewter. That's what my dad calls his computer. Boy, my pewter's down. That's what old people. That's when they don't know shit about computers because they call it the system. Well, my system's acting up. You talking about your urinal tract or your computer, Dad? Wikipedia says the Saints color is old gold. I mean, of all the years that they've been around playing football, I'd say it's more like fool's gold. Oh, what? Come on. All right. I admit that was kind of stupid. Yeah, fool's gold. There you go. Okay, so I got to say thank you to the deckheads that showed up and showed out. We had a party at the Hop Scholar when we did that show, and I mentioned everybody that came, including House and Matt Poche and truck driver Pookie and his wife. Matt brought a date, and who else? Robert Likes Beer was there with 3 other people. Celio came out. And then this show this past weekend was no different. We did a show at the Citadel down off 288, south side of town, and it was great. We had 230 tickets sold. Not everybody showed up. I think weather was part of the problem. We actually had people cancel on us and ask, hey, can I get a rain check? Because it's raining on my side of town, and apparently people can't drive in the rain. Okay. But those that came out were treated to a fantastic show. All of the comics killed it. Start to finish, hands down, I'm going to say it was the best booked show in the city of Houston. Now I understand, like, if Bill Burr comes to town. But as far as local headliners, there was not a better show to be had in the city of Houston this weekend or all year. It was phenomenal. So I got to say shout out to all the deckheads that showed up. You see there, this was the crew. And PP Dubs, who didn't even stick around. I'll get to that in a second. But Walt and Sid, hello Sid, and Fidel and Donna and Alan and Kathy on the right, and then my stupid ass in the middle. I gotta say, man, thank you guys so much. My favorite part about this picture is something Walt said on the Discord. Why is Fidel bending over? Like, why is Fidel is like 5 foot tall? Bro, you didn't need to shrink down to get in the shot. You could have literally stood up straight and you still wouldn't have blocked Walter Sidney. It is so funny. He's like, why is Fidel hunching over? Oh my God, it's so funny to me. Dubs, where was you at, Playboy? So PP Dubs came up, and I think he even had the ticket for Fidel, but PP Dubs, I had just met Alan Denson out in the drink area, and some lady who wanted to buy me a whiskey. And Dave comes up, he's like, yo, what's up, man? I'm Dave. I was like, Dubs, what's up, dude? Hey, and it was in the middle of the show, and I don't really like to congregate too much during the show. You'll if you ever come to a show, you'll know. I mean, like Walt can tell you, him and Sydney have been to a ton of shows. Donna has been to several now. Fidel, that was his first comedy show. But when it comes to comedy shows, don't look for me before. Rarely do I want to come and hang out before the show. And don't talk to me during, because I'm kind of in show mode, especially since I was producing. Afterwards, I'll hang out. We can kick it. We can talk. So just know that if you come, like Sports Riot show, I probably won't be doing too much hanging out at the Improv this Wednesday before the show. After, let's kick it. Well, I'll hang out at the bar, get some drinks. We can go next door to Big City Wings. I don't give a shit. But before and during, I like to just be in my zone because I'm working. But Dubs, I was getting a drink, but I was on my way back to the green room, and Dave comes up. Yeah, that lady, bro. Oh, boy. I don't know who that lady was. She was just like, she was from Oklahoma. And I guess my jokes about Tornado Alley really resonated with her because she just had to share her life story with me. It happens. It's flattering. It was very nice. And she bought me a whiskey. But Dave was super cool, man. Dave gets it. Like, Dave was just like, See, Dave knew. He was like, boy, that lady was all. So Dave was just like, what's up, dude? I'm Dave. I was like, Dave, what's up, bro? And he was like, cool. And then he just left. And I was like, well, that was okay. I'll see him afterwards. And he bounced. Didn't even hang out with us. No, it wasn't Dorothy, total Dallas. But I wish you would have hung out, Dave. Hopefully you can come Wednesday and kick it with us then and maybe be able to hang out a little bit more afterwards. What's up, Shelbsters? I see you getting in late. All good, Playgirl. All good. But it was fun, man. We had a good time. So that is part of the squad. That is the Deckhead squad. Thanks to Alan and Kathy. I know that was a long-ass drive. It was fantastic and wonderful to be able to meet you both for the first time after having so many discussions with you guys online. Incarnate says she wanted some of that skinny berry. Well, no, I don't think that was the case. It wasn't Karen. Nope, it wasn't a Karen. There was just some nice young lady at the show that my jokes really resonated with her, I guess. I don't know. How come every public event you have, you're getting jammed up by some woman? I mean, I don't know. I really don't know. I have no idea. Met Mr. Denson in the drink area. Shocker. Yeah. It was fun, though, man. We had a good time. We had a very good time. Oh, shit. I forgot to tweet out the show. Can you guys give me a second while I tweet the show out? I totally forgot. I'm failing as a marketeer. As a marketeer, I am failing. Because we got to talk. We're going to go through. We're going to do normally on Mondays, I would do football first. But I want to do baseball because the playoffs. We got to talk about the end of the season and Correa and all that. So we're going to get to football, I promise you, and we can even pick it up tomorrow because of Monday Night Football. But I want to make sure that we talk a little Astros. But I'm going to tweet the show out. Get here. We're talking NFL and MLB right now. Okay. Got it. Done. X tweet. Okay. Anybody jonesing because Facebook is down? Was anybody else like, oh my God? I tell you what, it sure does make it hard to market a show. We, John, Shock, and myself have been running Facebook ads for our show, by the way. Shameless plug. If you haven't heard about it, which I'm sure you have if you follow me at all. October 6th, that is Wednesday, myself, John Wesley, Mike Liebeshock, the three of us comprise the show called Sports Riot, which we do every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday over on Twitch. Twitch.tv/Sports Riot Live. It's right there, right there. So if you're not a part of that, you should check it out. But we are taking our show and moving it to the stage. And we're going to be doing about an hour of comedy and then followed by 30 minutes of debate. Plus, at the end, we're going to marry Shelby and Frank, or whatever her husband to be's name is. I don't worry about his name. Maybe I'll get it right during the ceremony. Just kidding. I know it's John, you guys. Here we go. You guys are going to be like, it's fucking John, you dumb shit. Nonetheless, we are going to be there Wednesday. And guys, I am praying. Please don't let us down. Please get tickets. Please come support myself. Come support John and Shock and Sports Riot and the show. Your fellow deckhead, Shelby. We're a little worried. Ticket sales are a little slow. Of the three shows that I'm on and producing, this is the one that's moving the slowest. And I'll be honest with you, I thought it would be the one that moved the fastest. So come support. Come hang out. You got nothing better to do on a Wednesday. We did this so that you didn't have to deal with the Astros playoffs. It's in between. They don't start until later. You're not going to miss the AL wildcard game. You would miss the NL wildcard game, but who gives a shit about that? Who gives a shit? So come hang out with us. Come spend the evening with us. It's going to be a guaranteed good time. It's going to be a lot of fun. You're going to get to see me. You're going to get to see me perform in a ministerial capacity. Totally made that word up just now. And marry Shelby and her soon-to-be husband. So that's fun. Plus, you're not going to want to miss Sun Tran and Kanice Nana. Hilarious comedians. Both of them write for me for Barry on Sports, which airs every Saturday on CW39 on Houston Sports Show. So I'm telling you right now, You do not want to miss this show. Everybody's saying school night. Really, guys? Really? Really? Is that what we're doing? Is that what we're doing? You guys won't come because of school night? Okay. I see how it is. That's interesting. You guys make bad decisions like have kids, and then it totally ruins our sports ride show. By the way, yeah, you guys don't have school, and nobody, Sunday, last I checked, school night wasn't Saturday, so where were you? Huh? Where were you Saturday if you couldn't make it Wednesday? Huh? Oh, really? So don't give me that lame-ass school night excuse. If your wife was like, you are taking me to the club on Thirsty Thursdays with $1 margaritas and free tacos, your ass would go. So don't give me that shit. Cece said I quit school for the show, Barry. Oh, Cece, I love you to death. You're the bestest. Yeah, listen, I don't need you to post your excuses in the chat. You're either there or you're not there. You're either show up or you're dead to me. One of the two. I get it. School night, kids up at 5:30. I don't give a fuck, D-Mata. Look at this. Do you see this face? This is the face of a man who doesn't give a shit and doesn't want to hear excuses. Just be at the Improv. Well, where were you Saturday, D-Mata? Exactly. Everyone in here that's saying, well, I can't. It's the middle of the week. Well, if I'm not seeing you on the weekends, then what's the goddamn difference? Cece's going to be there first. Terrence said, I live in Beaumont. That's a way better excuse. Although House drove for Hop Scholar from Beaumont. So the Densons drove from Beaumont. I mean, come on. You guys, all I'm hearing is a bunch of excuses and no results. Now, rarely do I push something as much as I'm pushing this and make you feel guilty about not attending. But I don't mind doing it for this. I really don't mind doing it for this. It's a big deal because the Houston Improv isn't giving out shows to Twitch streams just easily. So it's a pretty big deal for us and me and sports talk and streams and comedy and all that shit. I mean, I even thought about doing a Barry on Deck version of it, but then Sports Right came along. So, yeah, House lives out in Beaumont and drove all the way to Hop Scholar to catch a comedy show and then drove back. Or it's near Beaumont. It's not exactly Beaumont, but I might be like Mont Bellevue. Same thing. So yeah. What did Joe Pro say? Joe Pro said, I'm so far east, the map just says, there be dragons. Well, we're going to have a good time whether you raggedy bitches show up or not. And you know what I don't want to hear? Oh, well, I hope you have fun. Shut up. You know what? If you don't show up Wednesday, don't talk about it Thursday through the weekend. Just don't talk about it. That's all I'm going to talk about it. And those that come can talk about it. The rest of you, I don't want to hear shit. Okay? I think I've guilted you enough. All right. Let's talk some MLB. Well, first, let's talk some Astros. Season winds down. And good season. You know, I think they far exceeded my expectations after losing George Springer and seeing what the rotation in the bullpen was going into the season. I was hopeful. I wouldn't say I was optimistic. But look, that's just breaking news on ESPN. Mets move on from manager Luis Rojas after third place finish. Okay. I don't know if I would blame Luis Rojas for that. Astros finished 95-67, first in the division, 5 games ahead of Seattle, 9 games ahead of Oakland, 18 ahead of the Angels, and by the way, 35 games ahead of the Rangers. What's that total, Dallas? I'm sorry. I can't hear you. You're way back in the back. I couldn't hear you from way in the back. 35. You know how bad you have to be 35 games behind the division leader? You got to be really bad. Really bad. But Astros have a good season, man. The second best record in the NL. If you look at statistically for teams, they're first in batting in runs, batting average, on base percentage, and they were third in slugging percentage. So we know this lineup is potent. Pitching wise, little middle of the pack. Earned run average, they were 7th. Quality starts, 7th. Batting average against was good. They were 3rd. Whip, they were 8th. Overall, though, this is a good baseball team with a good plus minus, and they are to be concerned, or they are to be feared in the playoffs. They do have some concerns going in, but I don't think people are focused on that as much as they were focused on what yesterday meant. Yesterday could very well be, we very well may have seen Carlos Correa play his last regular season game as a Houston Astro. Whatever this playoff ends up being, it is very possible that he is not brought back by this team. I don't know that Jim Crane is going to pay him, wants to pay him, can afford to pay him. I saw somebody tweet, and we kind of went back and forth on it. I don't remember who it was. I don't know. Somebody that's always commenting on the Astros, or maybe it was, I don't know. Somebody said something about, well, you got to pay him. Well, you got to cultivate local, you got to cultivate young players, bring them up through the system. When they become stars, you pay them. That's a little difficult to do. The Astros, and it was something about a small market team and this, that, and the other. Let me explain something to you. You can't pay everybody. This is the problem that good teams have, especially a good team that's not in a major market like LA, New York, or Chicago. Okay? Houston does not compete with those markets. That's just there's the elite upper echelon markets, which is those three. And then there's the next tier, which is, big markets, but not huge. That's the Astros. So you're not going to be able to spend money like a team in LA. Any city that has at least 2 baseball teams, that's the market big enough to support 2 payrolls. This city is not that. There's no way this city could fade 2 teams. And that's what I think people lose sight of. Houston loves to, everything's bigger than Texas except the media markets. Okay? Everything's better and everything's bigger in Texas except the media markets. We don't have the size or the density of population to support 2 teams. New York, sure. Chicago, yeah. LA, of course. That's it. And that's why those teams will always have more money to spend. So I want you to understand that as we discuss what to do about Carlos Correa and the rest of this team going forward. Okay? Now, I think it's important to point out, and this is the argument immediately that people say, wow, Verlander's gone. Greinke's not coming back. Give Correa the money. Right. Yeah. Also, the other argument is, well, you didn't bring back George Springer. You probably were going to have to choose between Springer and Correa. You knew that. So you make the offer and do what you do. They're going to make Carlos Correa an offer, okay? They're not just going to be like, well, thanks a lot. We'll see, have a great career. That's obviously not going to be the case. What they can't do is get into a bidding war with the Yankees or the Angels or the Cubs or whoever else, the Mets. They're not going to be able to fade a bidding war like that. Can they come close? Yeah. Are you fingers crossed that Carlos Correa suddenly, decides that he wants to do like Craig Biggio did when he was recruited by the Rockies and almost went there? And go, nah, I'm going to stay here. I'm going to ride it out. No, you can't expect that. He doesn't owe this city or this team anything. The fact of the matter is, Carlos Correa has put himself in a position to become one of, if not the highest paid shortstop in baseball this offseason. That's going to happen. Whether Jim Crane wants to get in there with the big boys and roll his sleeves up and play ball, no pun intended, it's a whole other thing. James Click is probably crunching the numbers. I would say there's probably, I would put the odds of landing Correa back at a probably like 65% chance. I think it's better than 50-50, but I don't think it's great. I think he likes the city. I think he likes the team. I think he wants to be here. He loves playing with Altuve and Yuli and all that. All that is yes. But if the difference is $200 million versus $300 million, what would you do? And yeah, I think Jim Crane needs to open up the pocketbooks a little bit more. I think Jim Crane needs to splurge a little. But let's talk about it from a baseball perspective. Let's evaluate. You know there's a luxury tax. You know that, he's going to want, he's capping himself even if baseball's not, right? So on the one hand, you didn't bring back George, so maybe you could take a run at Correa. Verlander's off the books. Greinke's off the books. In fact, let's just do an exercise here. Let's go to Spot Track. Let's go look at Correa. Why do they have that? That's so weird. They just have Deshaun Watson on the front page. Get over it. They're not trading him. Okay, what is wrong with their... All right, so first thing I want to do is we're going to look on Spot Track at Correa's numbers, where he ranks, what his market value is. And then what we'll do is we'll look at Astros money. We'll look at their team payroll. And then what we'll do is we'll go look at free agents for MLB. So, first things first, we're going to look at Correa's numbers. That's not it. I hate this goddamn blessed. Zoom out. All right, so here we go. Oh, that's Astros payroll. This is Carlos Correa's page, if you will. Let me see if I can make this a little bit easier to read. There we go. Okay. So this is Correa's page. And this shows you what it is. He's in the last year of his deal. He's getting $11.7 million. He's an unrestricted free agent. On Spot Track, you can go to market value and get an idea of what a guy's worth. They're saying that Carlos Correa is worth 10 years and $266 million. That's according to Spot Track. What's up, Ben? As far as shortstops go, that would make him the second highest paid shortstop. The 19th highest paid MLB player by rank. You can see that Francisco Lindor got a 10-year deal worth $341 million. Right? We're looking at statistical comparisons. This is who Carlos compares to. He compares favorably to Francisco Lindor, Mookie Betts, Anthony Rendon, and Nolan Arenado. All of these guys got between $250 and $365 million. Carlos is probably going to be somewhere in the middle. It would not be crazy to think that Carlos could demand and get north of $30 million a year for 10 years. That's $300 million. That would mean he would go from the age of 27 to the age of 37. So their calculated market value is 266. I think he'll get more than that. Now, will people pay him? That's when you need to look at free agents. So let's look at free agent shortstops. Who's going to be leaving which teams? Who's going to be brought back? Who's going to be paying who? All right. Marcus Semien is a free agent. Trevor Story is a free agent. Corey Seager, Carlos Correa, Javi Baez, Andrelton Simmons. And then you see the rest. But those ones where you see a market value, usually that's a good indicator on Spot Track that, what is 37 in a row? What does that mean? I don't know what that means, VB. Well, that was probably a joke. But that's usually when you see a market value put on a player on Spot Track, usually you know that that guy is a pretty good player because they don't do that for everybody, including Andrelton Simmons, who I think is a serviceable shortstop. But let's take a look at a couple things here. One, you want to look at age. Carlos Correa is the youngest, barely, but the youngest of the free agents. They're saying Corey Seager is going to demand north of $30 million a year. Trevor Story's going to get 30. Carlos Correa is at 26. He's probably going to get 30. Javi Baez is probably going to get 25-ish, and I think Semien will get close to that 20 million mark. So no matter what, you're paying between 20 and 30 million for a shortstop if you're going to replace Correa with another stud, with another star. And so now what you have to consider, I'm sorry if I'm being basic on this, but I'm trying to break this down for you guys. Now what you have to consider is, all right, we know the market value for Correa. We have established that. We know that there are top tier shortstops also on the market. We have now established that. He is literally competing with guys just as good as him. And Trevor Story, Corey Seager, and to a little lesser degree, Javi Baez. And then Semien's probably in that next tier down. Now let's look at who's losing shortstops potentially, or who's going to be in the market for a shortstop. Are the Mets going to move on from Javi Baez? Well, they've got deep pockets. If they're sweeter on Carlos Correa than they are Javi Baez, maybe they open up the pocketbooks for him. The Dodgers, if they lose Corey Seager, who I think they might let go simply because of some of the injury issues that he's had. Maybe they take a chance and sign Carlos Correa to a big deal. Colorado, to a lesser degree, is probably not spending the money on any of these guys. Toronto, I'm not so sure about. But I can tell you right now that I think that the Mets and the Dodgers are certainly going to be paying top dollar. Now, the question becomes, who's the top shortstops? Well, I think we've established that the two best shortstops in this free agent class are Carlos Correa and Corey Seager. So what may happen is, if LA is out on Corey Seager, maybe they sign Carlos. And the Mets probably pony up and sign Corey Seager. That, to me, would be the most likely scenario. Now, will some of these other teams jump in the mix? Possibly. But I think that it wouldn't surprise me if Correa is a Dodger. If Corey Seager is a Met, that seems plausible. Or vice versa. Maybe Corey stays and Correa goes to the Mets. You have to hope that Jim Crane opens up the pocketbook and plays big. But this is who you're basically competing with. All of these teams need shortstops that you see on this list. These are all free agents. Now, not all. I mean, some of these guys are backups or whatever. Minnesota's going to be in the market. Toronto's going to be in the market. You think Toronto opens it up? Hey, let's pair up Carlos Correa with George Springer. I don't think that they do. If I'm Toronto, I bring back Marcus Semien because it's cheaper, and I keep that chemistry going because I'm telling you, down the stretch, there wasn't a more fun or more feared team than the Toronto Blue Jays. So I could see Semien staying put. The wild card here to me is Trevor Story, and here's why. Trevor Story, if you look at his numbers historically, all right, I'll fuck off. If you look at his numbers in Colorado, dude's a beast. Untouchable. The man earns every penny of that 30 mil. Every penny of it. Outside of Colorado, falls back to the pack a little bit. Not so good. So I don't know if I'm these teams, I'm not giving a guy who hasn't produced outside the same numbers outside of Colorado that he has in $30 million. I'm just not going to do that. I mean, we kind of saw the same thing happen to what's his face that went to Toronto and shit the bed after leaving Colorado. So the Trevor Story thing I find as a bit of a wild card. But I think Corey Seager, Carlos Correa, are both going to get 30 plus on the open market, and then the chips fall where they may. Now, let me tell you what wouldn't surprise me is that the Astros go, well, we'll just go to the farm system. What? So let's look at where the Astros are at in their payroll. All right, so this is their 2021 payroll right here. And you can see you've got guys, you're spending $30 million on Altuve, 35 on Greinke, 16 on Brantley. It goes on and on down the list here. You've got your injured payroll of Justin Verlander at 33. So between Verlander and, well, let's just go to the, let's see here. Let's go to, where are they? Free agents. There we go. So this is the money that's getting freed up. By the way, look at what they're paying Zach Greinke this year versus what his market value is. When people keep getting on to me about, you're being rude on, Zach Greinke's good. Really? He's getting paid 35. He's worth 10. So here's the deal. You're freeing up $68 million in payroll next year. And if you add to that the 11 that Correa was making, just in money paid out this year to those three positions, that's almost $80 million between Correa, Verlander, and Greinke. Now, Yuli is going to be a free agent, but he's got a club option. They're definitely flexing that. They are 1,000% flexing that. Going to have to figure out the catcher position, probably bring Maldonado back at a little bit of a raise. I think they should bring Kendall Graveman back, secure that bullpen going in. I don't think he does it for 8 years, $30 million, Tony. I just don't see that. I think Correa wants a 10. He's 27. If he's going to take a shorter term deal, it's going to be worth a lot more money. Hell, he might be like, yeah, I'll do a 5-year deal. You pay me $40 million a year. Then he can get another deal and go all Albert Pujols after that. So this is what they're looking at. This is their, this is the free agents that they have. Now, let's go back a bit here. So when you consider you're going to be losing. You already were down Verlander for the year. You knew that. You're going to lose Zach Greinke, who's another starter. And I think what this team has got to consider going into next season is you've got to go out and get an ace. You have got to go out and get a stud. You've got to go out and get an ace. So what aces are going to be out there? Well, let me sort this by market value because that's going to give you an idea. So Zach Greinke is at the bottom of this list at his $9 million per. But to me, Zach Greinke's not an ace anymore. He's 38 years old. He's on the downside of his career. He's not even going to make the playoff rotation against a bunch of young, somewhat unproven guys. But you look at this list, and let me ask you a question. Max Scherzer, Clayton Kershaw, Noah Syndergaard, Carlos Rodon, Kevin Gausman, Marcus Stroman, Robbie Ray. Hell, Robbie Ray might win a Cy Young, and that number will go up. And then there's DeScalfini and Greinke. But you're going to need an ace. So there's others. I mean, don't get fooled by some of these names down here at the bottom. Some of these guys, they're serviceable. But I'm talking bona fide stud aces if you plan on making another serious push for a World Series in 2022. And they have the lineup to do it, folks. Losing Correa in the middle of that lineup, sure, that hurts. That absolutely hurts. But they'll go out if they're smart and they spend. And if you replace Carlos Correa with, say, Marcus Semien, and then you go out and add Noah Syndergaard, or you add Clayton Kershaw, which I don't think he's leaving LA. I think they're not re-signing both, by the way. One of these guys will be there and one of them will not. I don't think they can afford to sign both. But if you added, Marcus Stroman, now what you're doing is you're taking the money that you have allotted from free agency, that $80 million, and you add, obviously it's not going to be Correa level, but if you get better in that rotation and you can add an arm to the bullpen, I mean, this is how you spend money wisely in baseball. Because I'll be honest with you, would I love to see Carlos Correa back? Yes. I really want this team to get an ace. That Verlander, that guy, that stopper. They really, this lineup, even without George Springer, even without Carlos Correa, this is a really, really good lineup. But I think they're going to miss out if they don't go out and get an absolute banger of a starter. So whether they feel, all right, we got 80 million, here's what we're going to do. We're going to spend 30 on Carlos. We're going to spend 30 on an ace. And then we're going to go cheap. So maybe Jason Castro is your starter next year or whatever. It wouldn't hurt my feelings. This is what I hope. But I think they've got to spend money on an ace. And yeah, Eric, I that's why I say, if they want to go out and get a Robbie Ray, I'm down. Gossman, I'm down. Those guys, that's called value right there. I mean, same thing. Marcus Stroman, I'd be happy with that. They need that guy. I get it. That's my point. When you used to have a rotation of Garrett Cole, Justin Verlander, right? I mean, look, they've got to get better, or at least more consistent in the bullpen, but you can do that on a budget. You can figure that out. You can get some guys in there. Well, that's okay. I'm really not worried about that. They need a starter. They need an ace. I shouldn't say a starter. They need an ace, and they got to figure out what they're going to do at shortstop. Just as an alternative, just to point this out, I've mentioned this before. The other alternative is to look at some of the other free agents. I know Chris Bryant is a free agent. Freddie Freeman is a free agent. So you also have opportunities. You could move Yuli to third. You could add Freddie Freeman at first and move Bregman to short. That would be okay with me. You could add Chris Bryant at third and move Bregman to short. That would be okay with me. There are different alternatives and alternative paths that you can do if you feel like you need to replace Carlos Correa's bat, which I think they will want to. That's the scary thing about this Astros team. If they get good starting pitching, and they have good starting pitchers, they just don't have an ace. They don't have that guy that you go, oh shit. So there are other methods. Bregman, thank God, being a shortstop converted to third, and Yuli being a third baseman converting to first, gives you a little bit of flexibility in there. And I don't think that they really want to move Yuli to third, just like they don't want to move Yordan to first. But there is opportunities here. There are options. Yuli is a hell of a fielding first baseman, so it's not like he forgot. It's not like he can't do it. That's exactly what I was saying. Yeah, that's it, Tony. So there are options. You can look at who's available. Let's go to free agent tracker. Here we go. So, for example, do you want to move Bregman back to short? Well, if you bring in Nolan Arenado, I'm good. You want to bring in Chris Bryant? I'm good. I wouldn't bring in Kyle Seager. That's the wrong Seager. But those are the options, right? I mean, these guys. There are some options for the Astros. Alex says Bregman doesn't. Well, listen, you're going to be hard pressed to find a better fielding shortstop that can also hit like Carlos Correa. Those are rare. Carlos Correa, this is why he is who he is and what he's done. That's why he's special, because he's great at the plate and he's great in the field. Whereas some guys are good at the plate and great in the field, like Anderson Simmons, or they're decent at the plate and great in the field, or they're great at the plate and good in the field. That's why Carlos is rare. So, you know, they have options. And I think this is the job of James Click at this point, is to sit back and evaluate the entire board, prioritize spending, and figure out what to do. Now, that was as that whole scenario I just ran through was as me being as judicious as possible. Just showing you the facts. This is where Carlos is at. This is value. This is the free agent market. This is the money Astros are freeing up. These are some needs that they have. That was all laid out. Most of that was not opinion. Most of that was fact. I mean, some opinion about value, I'm sure. That's an opinion. But now, if you want to know what I want them to do, what I think they should do, what I'd like to see them do, I want Carlos Correa back. I want Carlos Correa to be an Astro. Because I think when you see the money come off the books for Verlander and Greinke, you lost Springer. You don't let a once in a generational talent like Carlos Correa go, especially when you brought him up. A guy like Verlander, Garrett Cole, these are guys that you brought in at trade deadlines. These are guys that you brought in. They did their job, and then they go. The fan base loves them. But no one gives a shit now about Garrett Cole as a Yankee. But it breaks your heart to watch a George Springer out there playing center field in Toronto. Right? Like, that hurt. But let's be real. Were you sobbing every game? No, you got over it and this team wins and you're like, George who? Go Chaz! Go Jake! I mean, when Miles Straw was here, I was like, oh, fuck, what has happened? What have we done? But Chaz McCormick and Jake Myers made you forget about that a little bit. It was fun to watch those kids. They're like young, poor man George Springers out there running around, having fun, just doing what they do. But it would be tough to see Carlos Correa playing shortstop for the New York Mets. Woo. I think what solidified it for me and my love for Carlos Correa was 2020. Was the COVID season. They didn't play well during the regular season. The whole team, it was after the scandal, the whole team shrunk. The whole team just went into a shell. Bregman lost his swagger. Altuve lost his joy of the game. Guys left and right were just like, oh, Jesus, this is so bad. I'm just embarrassed to be an Astro. Everybody you could just see it. You could see it in their attitude. You could see it on the field. Everybody lost their swagger. Except Carlos. Carlos was the one guy who looked at the camera and said, hate us. I don't give a shit. Because you know what? I know what I am without the trash can banging. And I'm a damn good baseball player. And this is a damn good baseball team. So you can hate us all you want, but we ain't going nowhere. And we're going to prove to all of you that the cheating thing didn't matter. It was inconsequential. And that's what I loved about Carlos Correa. When this whole team could have just shriveled up and been sub 500, and which they were in 2020, shit the bed, no one would have blamed them because you'd have been like, well, you get it. It's the pressure. It's the hate. It's the this, that, and the other. The one dude that didn't shrink, and I would have thought it would have been Bregman. The one guy that didn't cave. The one guy that told the whole team, get behind me. I'll be the mouthpiece. I'll talk shit to the camera. I'll talk shit to other players. I'll talk shit to the media. Y'all get behind me, I'll do it, was Carlos Correa. You cannot put a value on that kind of leadership. There are some guys that lead on the field. There are some guys that lead quietly, like Altuve. And there are some guys that do both. There are some guys that lead in the clubhouse, that lead on the field, that lead in the media, and lead in the public. And that's what Carlos Correa has done. That's the real value of Carlos Correa. The reason this team loves him so much, I guarantee you, the reason this team loves him so much is because of the way that he stepped up when everybody else lost it, when everybody else shrunk inside, when everybody else just was like, I don't want to deal with this. And he became the mouthpiece and the face for this franchise in 2020. He was like a fucking Sith Lord. He was like, yeah, give me the hate. Let's go, baby. It fuels me. I want that. I want that dog. I want that dog on this team for the next decade. Because Springer was fun and Altuve was lovable and Bregman was a dick. But Correa was a fucking bulldog. I like that. So pay the man, Jim Crane. Bring him back. He is a fan favorite. Now, I'm going to show you this because this was so dope. So let me set this up. Normally, what did we, I could use a good seafood recommendation before the break. Justin, you, my friend, are outstanding. And the rest of the chat are fucking idiots. Justin, I love you, buddy. Tony, Dandy Dan, suck a fat dick. Hey, guys, let me tell you about Dan's Seafood and Wings. Guys, if you are looking for the best seafood in the city of Houston, it ain't no dude named John. It ain't a burnt up, crispy lobster. Nay, I say. It's Dan's Seafood and Wings, hands down the best seafood in the city of Houston. If you want it, go get it. 2 locations for you. One on the southwest side on South Gessner. One on the northeast side on Uvalde Road. My home one is Uvalde. And I love it. You're going to love it. It is the best seafood in the city. At me, hoes. I don't care. You're wrong if you don't believe it. Cece loves Dan's. Every single deckhead that has gone and eaten at Dan's absolutely loves it, and I think you will too. Whether it's the boiled spicy shrimp, Cisco loves the lo mein. Nora, I'm telling you guys, Nora will not let me get boiled spicy shrimp from anywhere else. She won't let me get shrimp from anywhere else. Their fried shrimp is good. The po' boy shrimp is good. Now, we had the New Orleans barbecue shrimp. Nora was not a fan of that. She didn't like the shrimp looking back at her. You know, Cajuns are weird. They do. The crawfish is great. I don't think it's in season anymore, but when they have it, mwah, everything is amazing. Everything is delicious. I implore you to try it if you have not already. I know Alan and Kathy drove in from Beaumont before they went to Jen's birthday party. What'd they do? They stopped the dance. I think several of the deckheads did. Thank you guys for supporting the sponsor of this show. Fidel loves Dan's. Dan's for Thanksgiving? Oh, Ray, it's on and popping. We're doing it. I'll call David too. We'll make this happen. We're doing that, buddy. 100%. 100. That's not even a number. 100%. Yeah, you're going to love it. Check it out. It's eatadans.com is the website. On Instagram, when it's up, go to @eatadans. Look at the food. Oh, it's like food porn. It really is. But I think you're going to love it. Make sure you check it out. Do yourself a favor. Put some Dans in your mouth. Justin, you're a real MVP. Tony, you're a fucking idiot. Sean said, I don't like seafood, but are their wings legit? Yes, Sean. Yes. Amos had the wings, said they were crispy and delicious because he's not a seafood eater as well. And Donna and PK and CC all will tell you, yes, the wings are legit. They're good. They're like, the menu is very diverse, but all of it's really good. And Justin, again, buddy, Well done, because my ass would just sit here and talk. Okay. Let's do this. I gotta pee. I was gonna try to get through the break without peeing, but I gotta pee. But before I do, I was mentioning Correa, right? And I mentioned I was talking about the fact that how much this team loves him and why I want them to bring him back, because he is the true leader of this team. And I think more than anyone in that clubhouse, he might be the most respected. I get Altuve, all that, Bregman, cool, blah, blah, blah. But for the reasons I just gave you before that read, this is why they love Carlos Correa in the clubhouse. So normally, when the team goes out on the field, Altuve leads them out. Altuve is the leader. He's the MVP. He's the this, that, and the other. He's been there through the ups and downs and all this and that. Altuve is the leader of the team de facto. But the heart and soul used to be Springer. The heart and soul is now Carlos Correa. So, this could have been his last regular season game as a Houston Astro. And instead of having Altuve lead the team out, they all got together and decided it should be Carlos Correa. But they did it a little different. Check out this video from the broadcast in case you missed it. This is pretty badass. Now, I'm probably going to get a copyright strike for it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put myself on screen so that they can't say it was a complete duplication. This was me doing a reaction video. So this is Carlos Correa leading out the Astros team in yesterday's game for the final regular season game of the 2021 season and possibly his last regular season game as an Astro. Check this out.
That was important. They wanted to show that to the fans. There's a different kind of thank you happening right now as we speak. You see Astros shortstop Carlos Correa taking the field, the
right
teammates
there.
staying back. They
Did you
wanted
notice that?
him to be acknowledged by his fans. This plan
No
was
one went on the field
by
with
his
him.
teammates, a sign of appreciation. He's a huge part of this club, of course, with his talent, but leadership, clubhouse
They
presence,
waited.
really what sets him apart. If you want to know the impact he's made, you're looking at it. CK Blummer.
That's awesome. What a cool moment.
It's pretty
for Carlos.
amazing.
What a great job by the players. They kind of fooled him, Blummer. They let him go out first, and then they all hung back. Urquidy, who's normally a quick worker, was ready to go out there.
Urquidy wanted to go out there.
Yeah, Urquidy wanted to get out there and get loose, but it's a great sign of respect, allowing
pretty
Carlos
special.
to go out there. We all know the impending offseason.
Pretty
what
special.
That brings. It's an opportunity to enjoy Carlos one last time, but a great way for them to send him out there. He doesn't like being put on a pedestal, but he was out there earlier, and rightfully so.
You could see it. It hit him when he was standing out there.
Penn said that's I'm not crying, you're crying
right
moment.
now for him
Absolutely.
to regroup a little bit.
Pretty cool moment. Correa goes out. They're like, hey, lead us out. He's like, oh, what a nice honor. He has no idea that they're not going on the field with him. He runs out by himself, all of Minute Maid Park, standing ovation, turns around, sees his teammates aren't on the field with him, that he's by himself. And it hits him, and you can see it hits him. And it was a beautiful thing, man. It was very cool. And I think he's deserved it. He's deserving of it. He's earned it. And hopefully that won't be the last time. Hopefully all that was for naught and Carlos Correa will be back. Hey, Johnny, thank you, buddy. I'm doing my thing over here. Actually, this isn't even one that I made. I had some extra shirts available, and I sent them over to my printer, Gustavo, over at Gooseworks, and he had these made. So these are kind of the old school Barry on Deck shirts. I just felt my titties just for no reason right there. Okay, I got to pee real quick. So let's get to a break. I know, Shelby. I miss Carlos so much. The chat's fighting over Correa. That's fine. I don't give a shit. All right. So I'm going to go pee. We're going to take a break. Hopefully this video works. It's supposed to be the weather update with Steven Uzik. And hopefully it works. By the way, one more quick reminder. Don't forget, October 6th, 2021. That is this Wednesday. Myself, John Westling, Mike Liebeshock, plus two funny comedians, Sun Tran and Kanis Nana, bring you Sports Riot live at the Improv. On stage, we're going to do about, an hour's worth of comedy, 15 minutes each, I'm guessing 10 to 15 each. John, myself, Sun Tran, and Kanis. And then we're going to bring you a sports debate show where basically we just talk shit and sports and have a good time. And then at the end, going to be marrying Shelby and John. Yes, me, yours truly, the minister of laughs. Okay. It's going to be a good time. Make sure you come and check it out. All right. That being said, I'm going to go pee. This is going to be a quick little break, so don't expect this to last forever. We're back very shortly. As soon as I pee, grab a new Diet Coke. We're back. You should do the same. If you poop, pee, whatever it is you do during the break, go do that. Smoke a cigarette, hit the bong, whatever it is. I'll see you in less than 5 minutes. I'm Barry Laminack. This is Barry on Deck. Stick around. Please work.
Hey Deckhead, Steven Music, aka Steven the Weather Guy here with your BiffNet forecast update. Really an easy forecast this week. Compared to last week, we had some rain almost every day last week. This week we're looking at clear skies, temperatures in the mid 80s to upper 80s, low humidity with a cold front coming through yesterday. And mornings should be really nice in the 60s, low humidity, like I said. Afternoons will get warm, but it won't be oppressive. And other than that, there's really no rain on the horizon, no big storm systems, nothing going on in the tropics. So it's pretty smooth sailing for the next week or so around here. So stick around after the break or go fuck yourself.
Hey, welcome back to hour number 2 of Barry on Deck. I'm your host, Barry Laminack. Thank you guys for sticking around through the break. Those of you that did. The 7 of you that left can suck it. Wait, I don't fuck around. As soon as the break goes, you're like, all right, I'm out. I can't stand here and not have someone scream at me the entire time. I have to have someone on my screen. I guess. I'm kind of like that too, probably. VB said, I miss Springer. I don't know if I'd miss Correa as much. It was awesome seeing Springer in the community and handling his own issues and speech impediment. Okay. I guess, look, everybody has their opinion and I think if you just care, I shouldn't say if you just care, but if you care about on field, they were both important, but they were also at 2 different points in their career. Springer's a little older, if I'm not mistaken. How old is Springer now? 32? He was a little long in the tooth because of how long it took them to get up. George Springer, 32 years old, and Correa's 27. 5 years difference. This is a lot in sports. It's 5 seasons of baseball. That's a lot. So 2 different points in their career, and sure, I know George, but Correa was active in the community as well. You know, I don't know. I mean, I respect the opinion, but I would miss Carlos Correa just as much as George Springer. But let's be honest. If the Astros win the World Series, how much do you really miss George Springer? If the Astros make it to the ALCS, how much do you really miss George Springer? The best lineup in baseball. Again, without their catalyst, because Altuve goes right to the top and picks up where they left off. I mean, look. No, and I'm not saying that you're wrong, VB. I'm saying everybody has a different perspective on what they mean. And or what a player means to them. I'm just saying there is a point though where you're gonna it's you gotta stop the bleeding, right? Are we gonna see this again when it comes to Bregman? Are we gonna see this again when it comes to Jordan? Are we gonna see, you know what I mean? Like there's a point where you gotta go, okay, time to keep some of these folks around. I mean, they did in Altuve, which is great, and I know they signed Bregman to a deal, which was a good deal for them. Phillips said, get Jerome to scream at everyone during breaks, outside of weather reports and Whisker Wednesday, of course. Well, that's true. We could do that. Oh, speaking of, I got some programming notes for you. So I got some bad news, folks. Hello, Sid. Hello. Thanks for being there this weekend. It was good to see you. Bad news. And the hits just keep on coming. But I don't know that Jerome will be back because of how busy the man is. So we may not be having Jerome on Wednesdays anymore. Yeah, that sucks. But wait, there's more. Had a phone call with Christopher Hart today. And he too is getting super busy and will no longer be able to be on the show. So we have lost Jerome, most likely. We have lost Christopher Hart for sure. So, yeah. This was part of what sucked about getting the show going today is I got the bad news from Christopher about 15 minutes before showtime, maybe an hour at the most. So I'm going to I'll pivot. I'll figure it out. I'll come up with some new guests. I'll have hopefully, look, I get it, man. Look, It is a difficult time commitment for anybody to do this on a weekly basis, and much less for the little or no pay that I provide. If the segment gets sponsored, I split it with them 50-50, but it ain't much, especially for the amount of time that they're putting in. So when like Jerome's segment got sponsored and we got almost through the contractual obligations of it, but not quite. So I'll probably just refund a little money and we'll be good to go. We had Christopher sponsored, but then we hadn't even started them yet. We were going to get those ramped up. So I don't know. We'll figure it out. I'll find some new guests. I know that you guys have a lot of folks that you like that have been on this show. So I'll try to figure something out. We'll pivot. I mean, you guys act like the goddamn, I'm still here. I'm just chopped liver now. I get it. I'm just chopped liver. This is definitely not happening. Listen, I even broke my own rule by putting Lil Uzi on the show. Okay. We're not having Deckheads as regular guests. The one or few times that I had Deckheads on, some of y'all froze. So we're not, no. We need to get recognizable media people that can draw an audience too, right? Don't get me wrong. I love you. But having Jerome, there's a reason you have Jerome on. It brings clout to the show. There's a reason you have Christopher Hart on. It brings clout to the show and a following. So that's the motivation. But Kelly Eco is a writer for The Athletic. See, this is not what I need. I'll join weekly. I love you. I don't want you to join weekly. What clout? How many followers are you bringing? I'll figure it out. I love you, Shelps. Oh, look. He said who you want. So Eric says Westling every Tuesday would be good. And I thought about that, but I mean, again, I do a show with John 3 days a week. If you want to see John and I do a show, just go to Sports Right and watch. So I'm trying to, because I've thought about that. Oh, I could do Shock or John. And I go, well, shit, I already do a show with them. trying to provide some variety, because I do know this, as much as I try to keep these shows separate between Sports Riot and Barry on Deck and make sure that they are their own standalone things and do their own things. I get that a lot of the viewers are crossover. They came from Barry on Deck. We created Sports Riot. You guys go there. You're part of the Riot Squad, and we appreciate that. So I want to give you some variety. Oh, Barry and Ted Cruz. Nick or Raheel would be cool. Again, this how do I put this? It'll have to, got to make sure that it's doable and sustainable. So, I guess we won't be on much. What does that mean? VB on deck. Oh my God. VB has 7 followers. Well, why didn't you say so? Done deal. All right. So let's see here. What are we doing? Let's do some NFL football. Let's talk some Texans. Before we talk Texans, I don't even really want to talk Texans because it was just miserable. I didn't even make a slide. That's how bad it was. I didn't even make John said you don't need guests, fucker, bro. I mean, it helps. I'll be honest with you, John. You know this as well as I do. The one reason I love Jerome and having Kelly and Christopher Hart is it does cut down on prep time. It saves me about 20 or 30 minutes a day, which I know doesn't sound like a lot, but holy fuck shit. When someone gives me 30 minutes in a week, it's like getting a day. So that's the joy of having guests, is that I have to have shit to talk about, but that comes a little more natural. Plus, I think that you guys, I could see where you guys would get bored of just hearing me talk 5 days a week, 2 hours a day. I think that needs to be mixed up a little bit. So what I'd love to do, what's up, BZH? What I'd love to do is get back to having a 1 hour guest maybe on Wednesdays, where we used to, when the show first started, I had a guest all the time for the second hour because I didn't know if I could do a show by myself. I was worried. But now I'm comfortable with doing a show by myself. But I think once a week would be good to have just a random guesto. And that's when I would love to have John on or Shock, or we could do whatever. So, Yep. That's it, Joe Pro. You get it. So let's talk a little NFL. But before we get to the games, can we get to last night's game? Sunday night game. Bucks. Patriots. Tom Brady's return to Boston. The prodigal son comes home. The goat goes back to graze in the yard from whence he was weaned as a wee pup to a full-fledged billy goat. John. Amos says it was a way overhyped game. This is not even what I want to talk about yet. We'll get to the football. I promise. What we need to talk about, what the real story from last night's game is. The story from last night's game is the fact that Rodney Harrison can't hold his own umbrella. What in the mealy mouth bullshit is diva ass Mariah Carey, Aretha Franklin bullshit is this? What? How is it that these other dudes can hold a goddamn umbrella, but he's too cool for school? This dude can't hold his own umbrella. I better find out that he's got a shoulder that's all fucked up and he can't do like this, or he can't, I don't know. when I saw that, I lost my shit. I was like, you've got to be fucking kidding me. What? You are a grown-ass man. I don't know if they've said anything about it. I haven't read anything about it. I know the internet roasted his ass, and rightfully so. Bro, really? Really? Do you understand how childish this looks? Do you understand how silly this looks? And that's obviously a female hand. You're making this woman, this PA, this showrunner, whoever in the fuck's hand that is, you're making her sit there and hold that umbrella for you. You ought to be ashamed. You are a grown-ass man and a football player. You ought to be ashamed. That is just ridiculous. Look at that shit. Bro. They kicked his ass out of the studio for Breeze. Well, and then Breeze shows up there. But no, they're all there. Yeah, I guess they did, though, didn't they? He's probably a little hurt. Maybe he paid him. Who gives a shit? Do you understand how awful that looks? Come on, fam. I don't care if you paid or not. The fact that everybody else is holding their own umbrella. Tirico's got his notes in his hand and a microphone. Tony Dungy, like you can tell Tony Dungy's never used like an iPad or anything. Tony Dungy probably still keeps his shit in a Trapper Keeper. He's old school. He's like all of his shit's in a spiral bound notebook or a leather bound book. Total Dallas says there has to be a reason. It can't just be being a diva. I hope you're right, and I want to believe you're right, because I don't think that would be the case, but it still looks awful. And did we have to make a female? Did it have to be some lady holding this for this grown-ass man? We couldn't have got a fucking gaffer or some dude or some rando. Hey, here's a press pass. Go on the field and hold this umbrella for Rodney Harrison. Like, dude. It's a Dawson's Creek Trapper Keeper. It probably is. Amos said that jacket tight as hell at the top. He probably couldn't hold it without ripping the jacket. I mean, you're right. You're right. Wait a minute, though. I was thinking about this the other day because I got to get new suits for the TV show. They're on me about that because I have like one good sport coat that I wear every goddamn week. The same Navy sport coat. My wife is like, you need to go get some. I'm like, man, they don't pay me new suit money. Okay. I don't think so. But they got to be making these suits out of stretch material now, right? Especially as tight as they are. I mean, I know my jeans are stretch. Are they not making these suits out of stretch material? I hope to hell they are. Tony said his hands in his pocket. Maybe he has a fake hand like Chubbs. It's the wrong buttons. That's good shit, Tony. Well done indeed. Now, Walt, I thought about that. This was my thought. He was probably like, man, it's just a little rain. I'm a football player. I don't need no damn umbrella. Just come on. I'll talk. They're probably like, Rodney, you got to have one. The rain hits the mic and then it's distracting to everybody. I don't need no damn umbrella. Fine. You want an umbrella? I ain't holding no damn umbrella. I'm just going to sit here. I'm a grown ass man. That's very possible. And I would love for that to be the case more so than like, I am not going to hold this microphone and an umbrella. You don't pay me enough. Let Drew hold it. He took my spot. It just looks weak. It just looks whack. At least explain it. Right? Like, see, here's the thing. If I'm on set and I see that, then I'm immediately going, guys, this is a terrible look. This is a terrible look. If the fact is that he didn't want an umbrella, then Mike Tirico needs to be like, hey, by the way, Rodney Harrison, obviously not afraid of rain because we had to get someone to hold an umbrella over him because he wouldn't do it himself. He said he didn't need one. Problem solved. Easily explained. Let's move on. But instead, now you got Maria Taylor back in the studio roasting his ass, and the internet roasted his ass, and now I'm roasting him. Never know. It said, speaking of, Celio says, speaking of Breeze, notice how the camera always stays on the left side of his face. Come on, we know he has a scar. Is that a scar or a birthmark? I didn't know what that was. I've never known what that was. I really didn't know what that was. And I don't think they do that on purpose. I think there's just always that dynamic. You never put, for some reason, it always goes left to right as you look at it or you'll put the main person in the center. But for some reason, the show lead is always on the left. I don't know why that is. I don't know if it's even intended to be that way. That's just kind of how it ends up going. They're either in the middle and then, like on First Take or whatever, then you got the two main characters on the left and the right, and then you got Tarico or James Brown or whoever. I don't know why, but I just noticed they're always on the left. Yeah, same thing. I thought it was a birthmark. Yeah, and again, I don't give a shit. But you could put Seal on there. I wouldn't. Who gives a shit? Nick said, Barry, when you are writing, do you do all digital? Just wondering. Yeah, 100%. 100%. When I write jokes for comedy, when I write for Houston Sports Show, when I write for whatever, always. Yep. Now, a lot of people, like a lot of comics will even do it on their phone. What I end up doing is I'll start on my phone with a joke maybe, and what I'll do is I'll speech to text it though. So I'll pull up Evernote, and if I have an idea for a joke, I'll go and then I'll be like, hey, what's the deal with airplane food? And then I'll record that, and then I'll go back in and maybe fix it so that I don't forget the joke. Then later on, I'll get on my laptop and actually write the joke the way I want to do it on stage. So yeah, I use all digital. I don't write at all. I tried to do that where I had these notebooks where I need to write more. I don't write enough. And that's also why I'm trying to record this album which probably just not going to happen this year now. Oh my God. Anyways, I'm trying to record this album so I can move on from this material. I've been doing not the same set for 8 years, but it's been a hot minute that I've had these same jokes. So I want to get them recorded and get them done, and I can move on and write new shit and force myself to write new shit. But it's all done digitally. Walt says that thing on Drew Brees' face is spider tech. Brandon says that's a birthmark. Brees is also being set up to replace Collinsworth when he retires, not to take Rodney Harrison's place. Ooh, I don't know about Drew Brees in the booth. We'll see. And Huggins is not only is he a Tony Dungy fan, but he said also legal pad and index card. Yeah, Andy is old school to the max. Andy, this is fascinating. I'm probably giving you guys a little too much inside baseball on Andy's writing. But Andy he has an index card method. So he will write premises and jokes on paper, but he also puts them on an index card. And then he files these index cards and he hangs on to them. So he'll sit down and have index cards like all in the living room of different jokes. And he'll have like, okay, I don't use these anymore, so I'll put them in this bucket. What that allows him to do is he can go back to the not used bucket, pull one out and be like, oh, I can rewrite this joke, or I should do this joke again. And he's got his own system. Every comic has a system. Like every comic has a way that they write their jokes. Some guys don't write at all. Some guys literally just have bullet points. Some guys just go, I'm just gonna, I just like Trey is kind of like that, where I think Trey knows what he wants to say. He knows what the setup is. He knows what the punch is. And then how he gets to it might vary every time. I can't do that. I admire comics that can do that, but I'm kind of old school like Andy or John or some of these guys, because these were my mentors when I was learning how to be a comic. I write down everything. I even write down how long each joke is, so that when I'm building a set, if I know I got to do 20 minutes or 25 or 30 or 45 or an hour or whatever it is, I know exactly how long each joke is, which is super anal and weird. Nobody really does that. That's just my method. This is just what I do. Yeah, Andy has 4 different index box cards. full of jokes. 30 years of, I don't know if it's 30. Where was that? I saw something. You ever thought about, so Sean said, have you ever thought about documenting that process? It would be cool seeing you make a joke. I have thought about that. In fact, I thought it would be kind of a cool, like YouTube video or something like that, where I have the idea, I write it down, I fix it. You see me fixing it. I go on stage, I record myself doing it. It doesn't work. I go back, I fix it. Yeah, I've thought about that. Yeah. Keisha is very different every time. Keisha doesn't. That's the other thing, man. It's a muscle. You got to be really good at that too. But you know what? Here's the cool thing. Like Keisha Hunt does her set. She has jokes that she'll do. I don't know if she did it Saturday, but like she's got like, oh, I got a dick in the trunk right now. Like she's got her jokes. You know what I mean? Like showing up to court and is the father here? All that, But how she does them and gets to them can be different every single time, which is a beautiful thing. And then there's guys like me or Andy, or, you know, like I'm going to give you the same joke the same way, but I know it works and I know it's going to get laughs. Donna said, Andy, you were so funny Saturday night. I loved it. Oh, he's a beast. That's why he is who he is. Mac, what's up, Jersey guy? Y'all, Mac's a stand-up comic too. Y'all remember Jersey guy, right? Chicago Bulls. Got clowned on, went viral. That's my dude, man. Max a comic out of Florida. And he said, writing jokes is the hardest thing I've done in my life. I've written things down and laugh my butt off only to bomb when I say them on stage. That's the tough part. That's the thing, is you and I think it's funny when we write it. And as Andy has always said, the audience gets the final say in whether a joke is funny or not. The audience gets the final say. He said, I've written down jokes thinking they would kill only to have them bomb on stage. Hardest thing I've had to do is write jokes. Yep. I'm right. I mean, I have a thing in my, look, let's go here. I'll show you. We'll do a quick exercise here. I'm going to randomly. So I have in my Evernotes, I have all kind of different things here. And one of them is under my comedy. I have a thing called daily writing, and my daily writing folder is I have 552 notes of just different random shit that I come up with. So I'm going to scroll through here. Oh, you can't see, but I'm just randomly scrolling up and down. I'm picking something and we're going to go this note. Oh, that's merch ideas. No, that's MLB predictions. Here we go. April 2nd. This is a random joke I wrote. And I don't do this on stage yet or anything, but this is just an idea that I had. So this was a random joke where when black dudes lie. You can always tell when a black dude was going to lie to you because he pushes his hair forward. Like I'll have buddies that'll do that, right? You'll be talking to him, you're like, hey man, you said you would have my money today. Do you have my money? And they'll be like, yeah, man, what had happened was, like, that's when you know, like, if for white people that don't know, that's a telltale sign right there. That's what you got to be. And then I was talking to Billy and he was like, cool, but how are you going to do like when white people lie? I was like, well, what I want to do is call it back later when I'm in a joke with Nora and I'm going to lie to her. And she's like, where have you been? So that's kind of the whole premise behind the joke, right? Like, we all do it eventually. But that's just a random joke I wrote. And then when I was talking to Billy about it, he was like, well, you know, you make sure you be careful because you don't just want to be up there doing jokes about black dudes and not spreading the love, so to speak. I was like, that's a good point too. So you do have to be careful about that. But yeah, that's just a random joke I wrote. Look, I'll do one more. Let's see. I'm scrolling through back to May 4th, 2020. Oh, this is a long one. Now, I don't normally do, but this is like a real, look at that. That was just me. That's when the mood strikes you and you get after it. So this is the joke I wrote. Marriage is all about sex. If it wasn't for sex, straight dudes would marry each other. That's the premise. If it wasn't for sex, straight dudes would just marry each other. It says marriage is all about sex because it says we get married, we're attracted to specific persons, whether it's the opposite sex or the same sex or no sex or binary sex. I don't know. I I don't know what the fuck is correct nowadays. But basically the premise of this long ass joke is like, dudes aren't going to do shit. Other dudes aren't going to do shit to other dudes. We'd rather hang out with our guy friends and be married to them because we have a lot in common. It's the sex that differentiates just having a roommate and being married. That was the premise behind the joke. Again, that's what you get. You get a premise, you get a thought, and then you flesh it out to a joke. What's up, Rachel? I said, I'm not sure you completely count as a white guy, Barry. Well, that's I think my look at that. Look how pasty white that is. I think that counts. Yeah, Joe Pro, that's my bit there. That is for sure. That's my bit. I do the old I love that bit. I just can't do it around white people. They freak out. Tyler Moss says, "This I like this just turned into a comedy writing portion. I don't give a shit. Let's do it." Where did it go? Oh, there's Tyler. There it is. How much on stage is just fluid humor from telling stories or thinking of them in the moment compared to preparation? For me, it's all preparation. And I've been given shit by others who are like, man, you just got to get up and be in the moment. Like Trey Tutson is great about being in the moment. I just won't let myself do it for some reason. I want to go up with a prepared set and prepared material and do prepared jokes that I know are going to work versus taking chances and taking risks, which isn't always the best thing. I should take more chances. I should take more risks on stage because I feel like when I've riffed and done that in the past, it's worked and been great. But I just want to do my jokes. I wrote these jokes and I'm going to do them. But not every comedian is like that. When it comes to storytelling, though, like I did this past Saturday at the Vintage Whiskey Show, I do a story which I'm going to be doing for Dry Bar about Tornado Alley. And it's like 6 to 7 to 8 minutes long. You ever had somebody tell you a story and about 2 minutes in, you're like, oh my God, when is this fucking story going to be over? They think it's hilarious. They think it's fun and funny, but it's not. That's the risk comedians take when they tell stories on stage. So what you have to do, in my opinion, and I think a lot of people's opinions, you really have to sit down and write the story out and make sure that you know where the laughs are in the story. Because no one wants to sit through a 5-minute story for one laugh. That ain't worth it. That is not efficient comedy. You're going to be a bad comic if you do that. So like my Tornado Alley story, I'm not saying it's the greatest story in the world, but you're laughing throughout. It's funny throughout. I don't like the way that it ends. I'm still working on it, but it's not like you're just sitting there listening to me talk. So, Alan said all the time on his. VB said, cheer up, Barry, check Venmo. What did I miss on Venmo? By the way, I forgot to say thank you on Friday. We got out early. And it was a $5 Friday. And where'd it go? You guys. Alex Villanueva sent me $10 on $5 Friday. And he said, Happy Fiesta Friday. Keep putting out the hits. Let's go. And so I appreciate you, Alex. I didn't acknowledge you on Friday, and I felt like an asshole for that. And the same goes for Keith Sager, who had sent me a $5 Friday. He said, love you, Barry. Love you, Barry. How the tech problems work themselves out. We appreciate you. Thank you, buddy. Thank you, Keith. And thank you all for supporting, especially on the $5 Fridays. That makes it worth it. I live in Tornado Alley. Oh, yeah. Yeah. That bit hits home for people. That's why that one chick was stalking me after the show or during. Amos says, oh, by the way, Andy says, yes. What is this? Very 99% European. Oh, yeah. Yeah, for sure. And the other percent is like Eastern European. Andy says, for me, it's all about preparation. Oh, yeah. Andy doesn't go up and riff. The crazy thing is when Andy does riff, it's fucking hilarious. But this is who I learned from. I learned from Andy and John Westling and Billy D. Washington and rest in peace, Ed Blake. And these 4 guys taught me how to be a comic, and all of them taught me the same thing. Go up there and do your job. And part of doing your job is being prepared to do your job. And so that's what I do. I write my jokes, this, that, and the other. the whole idea of stand-up is risky. Absolutely it is. Absolutely it is. Amos wanted to know, where did it go? Are you afraid of bombing? I'm afraid of new jokes bombing, but I'm not afraid of bombing. You get over that if this is what you really want to do. If you want to be a stand-up comedian, you understand that bombing is part of the process. Everybody bombs. Everybody has bad sets. Andy Huggins will have a bad set a couple times a year. The rest of us a couple times a month. Some comics just, that's all they are bad sets. They shouldn't be comics. But you just know that bombing is part of the process. Going up and having a shitty time at the job, at work, is just going to happen. It's how it's getting better from it. It's learning how to do that. And learning from it. If you're bombing all the time, that's a problem. And that's exactly what Andy is saying with this. I've been in enough car rides with Andy to know an occasional bomb is a fact of comedy life. Let me translate that for you. If you're bombing all the time, get out of comedy. But an occasional bomb is just how it's going to go. You're just going to go up and not do well. But if you know the jokes are funny and you've prepared and you do them and you perfected them and you've made them to where they can go anywhere, yeah, you're going to you're gonna do well most of the time. Missed a couple here. VB, thank you for the super chat, my friend. He said, cheer up, Barry, check Venmo. What am I checking Venmo for, VB? What are you doing, buddy? Aww. VB, you are the man, dude. Thank you so much, you guys. That is super sweet. VB just sent $100. Oh no. That's big, dude. Thank you. He said, sorry about Jerome and Chris, but we know you will find new guests and keep killing it. Thank you. Nah, buddy. Thank you, man. VB, you always been super generous to me, man. You have no idea how appreciative I am of it. I know I give you shit every once in a while, but I really do appreciate it, man. Especially when it comes to our charity work too. You're always at the forefront of that. So thank you, buddy. And thank you for your generosity and kindness with that $100, man. That's fucking huge, man. Thank you. Let's see. Where does it go? Cause I saw another one come in. Who was it? Where is it? Oh, Joe Pro asked about laughs per minute. I look at Andy Huggins thinks laughs per minute is stupid. He thinks it's absolutely stupid. I think John Westling, I don't know what John thinks about laughs per minute. I was a big proponent of laughs per minute, and I think it's a good base gauge of how you're doing. I don't think it's the end all be all, but I use laughs per minute. In fact, I used it probably my second year in comedy, and it really helped make me a better comic. Because I would sit down and evaluate. You guys know I'm nerdy as shit. So I would sit down and listen to my set and count the laughs. And I would basically break it down to every joke. And this is how I ended up timing all my jokes, is I would be like, okay, I do this joke about eating popsicles and it's a minute long and it gets 2 laughs. So that means the audience has to wait 30 seconds and get a laugh and then wait 30 seconds and get a laugh. They always tell you if you use laughs per minute, a good comic will make you laugh 4 times in a minute. That's why Andy Huggins is a killer, because Andy will make you laugh 6 to 8 times in a minute. And that's a great comic. But a really good comic, a solid, good at what he does comic can make you laugh 4 times every minute. Now think about that. If they're doing a 30-minute set and you're laughing 4 times every minute, you're laughing a lot. And that's the mark of really good shit, really good comics. So I would sit down when I was trying to figure out what was wrong, and I was listening to my jokes, and one joke was like a minute long and it got 1 laugh at the end. And then I was like, okay, well, that's part of the problem, right? And then I would listen to this other one. I was like, man, this is really getting a lot of laughs. This is okay, cool. And then I started using it that way. But I don't obsess over it now, because now I've got more of a feel of comedy and my jokes, and I know how to fix shit, and I can tell if a joke is funny and all that. But when I was early on, yeah, absolutely, I used it. Yeah, Andy's not a proponent. He thinks it's bullshit. Of course, everybody has their own opinions. Andy had me rolling on Saturday. Absolutely. Total Dallas was the other super chat that came through. Thank you, buddy, for your generosity. Told Dallas sent in a $5 super chat. He said, guy in the UPS store says, is that Barry Laminack on your phone? I love that guy. 5 minutes later, the people in line behind me aren't happy. What's up? What's his name? What's his name, TD? Tell me his name. I'll give him a shout out right now. That's the way to grow the show in line. Hey, you tell those people in line, put me on speaker. I'll talk to those people in line behind you. Hey, Frida. Hey, Larry. Hey, Ralph. Shut the fuck up. All right, we're doing something here. You don't like it? Go to FedEx. No, I'm sorry. Don't leave. This guy works hard. He needs this job. I apologize. He works hard for his money. Please stay at the UPS store. Just shut up. We'll be done in a minute. That probably didn't help. But thank you for your super chat and growing the show, Total Dallas. Hook him up. Tell him to like and subscribe. Speaking of that, tell him to follow me on the YouTubes. Also, if you haven't liked the video yet today, please do. Oh, we're matching it. Good. We got 53 watching and 56 likes. And good job, famo. I had an AMA. Where'd it go? Go. It's from Demada, I thought. There you go. Demada wants to know, have you told a comic that they shouldn't do stand-up? Yes. 100%. Yes. 100%. I have told people they shouldn't be stand-ups, that they were terrible. Absolutely. Yeah. There was one guy who all he would do was go on stage. He had the worst jokes ever. They weren't even jokes. He just had the worst material or whatever the fuck you want to call it. And he would mimic Mitch Hedberg. He would just do Mitch Hedberg's voice and basically just repurpose his jokes. I was like, hey, you're not good at this. Just quit. Just go do something else. It's okay. It's okay. You're just not good at this. This isn't your thing. I mean, that's the thing that I think frustrates guys like me and Andy and John and other comics. It's like, no other profession could you just fucking do it just because you can. I can't just go like, hey, you know what? I have always wanted to fucking do LASIK surgery. I've always just wanted to operate on people's eyeballs. I'm just going to go fucking start operating on eyeballs. Yeah, I probably fuck up on about 80%. Who cares? I can do it. You can't tell me to quit. Literally, stand-up comedy. Anyone can go to an open mic and then call themselves a comic. You're not a professional comic till you get paid. But then what they do, they just do their own show because they suck so bad, no one will book them. And then they're like, wow, I got paid. No, bitch, you just found somebody dumb enough to pay you that didn't know. There used to be a guy in town that would do that. His name was Mario. I won't give his last name. God, he was fucking horrible. He ruined comedy at 1,000 venues around the city because he was so bad that no one would book him on their shows. So he would go book his own show at a bar or a restaurant, and they didn't know better. And then he would do the show, and it would be fucking awful. And they swore they would never book comedy again. So yeah, sometimes it's okay to go, hey, get out of the business. You're not cut out for this. You're not good. Truth hurts. And you know what? If you think it's bad when I tell you, wait until the audience tells you by not laughing. We're saying the same thing. It's just a different way. So yeah, I have told people, including House. What was that? What did I miss here? Dude, I feel like I missed something. Where did this go? This is so interesting. Is it, Marshall? I don't know. I always feel like when I talk comedy, it's boring to you guys. But then you guys keep asking questions, so I keep answering. Hey, Barry. Barry tells House all the time. That's a good one, Fidel. Amy said, what's the last special you saw? God damn it. Why is this thing cutting off? What's the last special you saw that you thought would be funny, but was a dud? Mine was Marlon Wayne's. Ooh. Nate Bargatze's last special. As much as I hate to say it. I love Nate Bargatze, but it was just, yeah. But I love me some Bill Burr, my favorite comic. Cece knew who it was. Cece, you know who I'm talking about? Do you know Mario? I didn't say last names. There could be a million Marios, but I think you, the signs are everywhere. That's hilarious. Andy said, but what can you tell someone more eloquent and emphatic than an audience not laughing? But that's the problem, Andy, and that's why people like me and you have to tell comics or people trying to do stand-up that aren't really good at it, because it wastes time, it burns rooms, it pisses people off, it gives the thing a bad name, it gives the business a bad name, especially locally. Because Andy, you and I both know, and you guys, this is true. Comics hear phantom laughs. Max in here, he'll tell you, even as a comic, when you're new, you think you did better than you did sometimes. Stand-up comedy, really and truly, it's about being funny, but it is so much about self-awareness as well. It's really about being self-aware, knowing this joke isn't good. Or, you gotta, I think there was a writer that said you have to kill your babies. That's joke. You may love a joke, but if it's not getting the laughs, you got to kill it. You got to get rid of it. No, it was not Chingo. No, Chingo does a great job. No. That's so funny. Cece knows him. Hilarious. Cece really does know everybody. I swear to God. But yeah, it's about self-awareness. It's about knowing yourself and whether but sometimes people need to tell you, because you hear phantom laughs. How many times, every time you see a comic on Facebook, be like, oh man, I killed tonight. I promise you, they didn't kill. They think they killed because they heard someone laugh for the first time ever, and that doesn't happen. So, sometimes you just got to tell people to shut the fuck up. Let's see. I'm trying to get this done. We'll go a little bit over. It's 3:59. I feel like we haven't answered all your questions. What comics do you think had most laughs per minute? I think that's why I'd love Mitch. Quick jokes. Yeah. Oh yeah. One-liners like Andy Huggins, Mitch Hedberg. Those guys are going to have way more laughs per minute. In fact, Andy Huggins was talking about that once. We talked about it a lot, but when you think about Andy, this is why he's like, man, 20 minutes is my sweet spot. When you think about Andy, who does a one-liner and gives you a joke, if that lasts for 15, 20 seconds, right? So if a joke is a 10-second joke, and sometimes they're shorter than that, imagine how many jokes that is in 20 minutes. If I go up, I might take 30 seconds to 45 seconds to set up a joke and then hit you with 6 or 7 punchlines in a row or tags or whatever and get a bunch of laughs out of you. But Andy is like set punch, set punch, set punch, set punch. So Andy's doing a shit ton of jokes. I have to memorize, I don't know, an order of, okay, I'm going to do my Oklahoma jokes, which is construction and tornado alley. And then each of those, one is 3 minutes and one is 7 minutes. But that whole thing is 10 minutes of Oklahoma jokes. I'm going to do my fat jokes where I used to be fat and lost weight and all these things. But Andy's got to remember not just those kinds of chunks, but he's got to remember each individual one-liner. That's a lot of jokes. So usually one-liner comics will have a lot of laughs per minute, but really any comic that's good. Like Bill Burr's not a one-liner comic, but I promise you, Bill Burr makes you laugh just as much as Mitch Hedberg or Andy Huggins, if you like them. It just feels different because Andy's like, all right, this is one joke, then another joke, then a new joke, where Bill's in a story or a conversational piece, but he's making you laugh just as much. It just feels like more with a one-liner. Yeah, look, see, Andy says 20 minutes is 100 to 120 jokes for 20 minutes. Now imagine headlining and doing that. 45-minute set. That's a lot. That's a whole lot. Hey, by the way, Donna said, yeah, don't forget Jerry Bow has 4 tickets to Sports Riot. Yeah, don't forget. That's tomorrow. Speaking of comedy, speaking of jokes, myself, John Wessling, Sun Tran, and Kanice Nana, all stand-up comics, going to be doing material for you on Wednesday at the Houston Improv, and then doing a comedy debate show afterwards where we talk sports and probably roast each other here and there. So, there you go. Don't forget. And Jerry Bow has tickets. What did I miss? I'm going to wrap this up here in a second. Virginia Bow, we said that made no sense what I was writing. Oh, here we go. Tyler said, I've always been curious how that process goes and how it is. It's also a million times better than reliving this NFL season so far. Okay, fair enough. Joe Bro said, some folks don't need to be wasting their time and everybody else's time. I've had to tell kids that. Yeah. Maybe construction isn't for you. Good luck elsewhere. You have to sometimes. People just lack self-awareness in whatever they do, not just comedy, just in general. We're really not going to talk about the Cowboys. Okay, so it's 4 o'clock, CC. I promise you tomorrow I will open the show with NFL talk, and it will be Cowboys first, and then Texans, and then Saints, and then Monday Night Football. I promise you that, okay? I promise you. But we just got off on this comedy tangent and Astros, and it, that's just how it happens. So, oh, that was cold-blooded incarnate. What else? Let's see. It's a school night. Oh, my God. Where'd it go? No. Andy with the bottle of water on stage. Yes. Thank you, Fidel, for not being an asshole. Celio said, I feel like photography is the same thing. You mentioned comedy. Anyone who buys a camera thinks they can start charging folks $400 for a session. Exactly. And then it gives other photographers a bad name. All right. Thank you, Chris. Appreciate you, buddy. VB, thank you, man, for your generosity, for real. I can't even express to you what it means. Honest to God. Thank you so much. Thank you to all of you for being here, for supporting the show, for watching, for coming out to the Improv on Wednesday, coming out to the Citadel last Saturday, coming out to Hop Scholar the previous Saturday, so on and so on and so on. I thank you all. I love you all. I appreciate y'all. Enjoy Monday Night Football. Tomorrow we will recap Week 4. I promise. And we will start the Cowboys, CC. Scout's honor. Mac, we'll see you, buddy. Jen, love you, boo-boo. Dan said, I'm glad we didn't talk Texas. That makes a few of us. Perry, peace to you, buddy. Hey, JB, thank you, man. All right, folks, I'm going to print shirts on my new heat press. That set me back a grip. BB, that money's going to cover some of this new heat press I had to buy. Thank you. Great, we'll see you, homie. All right, Joel. Love you too, CC. Hey, until tomorrow, enjoy Monday Night Football. And until tomorrow, do me 3 favors. Be safe. Be kind. Most importantly, love each other. See you tomorrow.